Just a sec. Don't.
Oh,
here. Oh, well, give me just a sec, and then we're live.
We're already live. No sex for you. No seconds for you.
Seconds. No
seconds.
Better be careful with that, Pops.
I know that was that was not what I was trying to say.
That was a faux pas.
Yes.
A Freudian slip. So, well, I don't know. It's
not still the same thing.
I know.
We're having trouble playing this video.
I don't know why. That is odd. I'm not sure why we're having trouble playing the video. So,
oh wait,
Mary sees us
from Facebook.
Mary, give us. Do you? Mary, let us know if you can still see us or still talk to us, because we're having some problems with our. Melissa says hi, but let's see. Can you guys hear us? Are we there? Give us. Are you there? Is anybody there? Is anything happening? It's back down. It says zero people on. I do not know what's happening, and I'm trying to jump over to the wind one, but it's the same thing as having trouble playing the video.
Yeah, I'm looking at wind right now. It says having trouble.
YouTube is fine. Like I'm
the same issue if we go to Spirit.
Well, yeah, Spirit. That's because you're.
No, actually, that one's not saying that it's not. You can't play it. That's weird.
But yeah, Spirit it's not live on Spirit.
No, now it's saying now it's having trouble. Yeah. Okay, it's not. Well,
yeah, it's working over on YouTube, but not Facebook.
Well, that's a problem. Hi, YouTubers.
Yeah. I don't understand what's going on and why it won't. It says we're live. I reconnected it. View on Facebook, and
yeah, it's just not playing.
It's not.
Huh.
Well, here, let's I don't know what to do. Not really sure.
It says we're live, but if we're not.
No. I mean, I could share the YouTube video over to Facebook, but I could try that.
Yeah, when I go to Facebook straight off the StreamYard, it just says we're just not even doing anything. Got nothing.
Hold on a sec.
Oh, yeah. Karen says she has no video.
Yeah, they can't even hear us. Okay. Hold on. We're just going to see. Yeah, we'll see if anybody jumps over to YouTube.
Okay.
It won't let me. It won't let me post it on Facebook.
Want
Like,
to post the YouTube thing?
yeah, can't post on. Yeah, I don't know if that'll even show up.
No, it won't. But I was just trying to get it so I could highlight it, but it won't let me highlight it. Because then I could put it in the comments right here, because I'm open on the Facebook thing right now.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Let's see if people jump. If anybody jumps over to YouTube, let us know if you've joined us over here. Let's see, posts. Do and go over to here. And is anybody? Hello, Annette? Are you? No, Annette's on Facebook too, so she's very happy. But I don't think. Lynn is here. Lynn,
Yep.
I think you're the only one so far.
Can you see us, Lynn? That's the impressive
I
thing.
think Lynn's probably working for Lynn. Let's see if we can resurrect this. Okay, Karen's here. Okay. I'm just posting. I'm trying to post on Facebook. Okay. Karen found us. Lynn found us. We've got 2 people viewing, and we're having lots of technical difficulties tonight. We've already started and stopped once and tried to reconnect it, and it's just not working for some reason. So we're gonna see if we can figure out how to get this working. Then yeah, Lynn, that's good. For some reason, Facebook is not letting us. I don't know. I need to do this. So Facebook's not letting us post. It's not letting me post. It's.
Are you in Facebook jail?
I don't. How would I be in Facebook jail?
I don't know. What have you been doing lately?
Well, we'll see if. Okay, there. I was able to post onto. Okay, well, let's see if this is gonna work. Okay. And. No, I don't want to do that. Give us just bear with us for just a second. And as we try and figure out how if we can actually get people over. So yeah, all right. Okay, well, hello, Karen, and hello, Lynn. I think you guys are the only 2 that are over here. So let's see if anybody else will jump over. If we get a couple people. Bertus has tried to stop the video and restart. And there's Annette. Annette has jumped on to YouTube, so that's wonderful. And this is kind of upending all of our live streams. So
it is a bit.
Yeah, I know. We have some dreams to interpret. We had a topic we were going to talk about, and questions we were going to ask. The whole thing plotted out, and now all we can do is wait and see if everybody can jump over. So right now we've got Annette and Karen and Lynn. Maybe a couple others will jump over. So, Dad, why don't we let's just we've done what we can to see if people can come over. If people come over, then yeah, if you guys, Karen, that's good. If you can post over on Facebook and let us know that we're on the YouTube channel. And Yeah, well, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I am going to
It's not giving me. I'm gonna delete mine.
share
That
to
doesn't
a
seem to be
group
working.
and share to.
Okay.
We're going to share there.
You can just watch us stumble and bumble. It's fine
Yeah, that's right.
as we struggle
Okay.
with technology.
Yeah. So there. Hopefully that'll get everybody over. So, Dad, what were we gonna talk about?
Dream pandemic and dream
Dreams, pandemic dreams.
post pandemic. Well,
Yeah,
kind of
this was the
post
question
pandemic,
here. Yeah, post pan,
sort of post.
sort of post. Yeah, it depends.
Like in the United States, we're still in a pandemic officially.
Depends on who you talk to and what
Yes,
country you live in.
right.
Yes. So, but this was your question. I thought this was a good thought that you had. The thought was, or the wondering was, we've been through this. Yeah, Karen's figuring all this stuff out for us. She's our tech expert. The thought was something like this, right? Where people have been through in the last 3 years, we'll say 2.5, almost 3 years now, 2.5
Yeah.
years. Yeah, it's been almost 2.5 years since we've been doing this. Yeah.
Started in the
So
pandemic. Yes.
yeah, we started in the pandemic. That's right. As we're kind of coming out of the total restriction, total lockdown, I got an email after I got back from one of my trips letting me know that someone in the meeting had COVID, and so I was possibly exposed to COVID, and it was like, oh yeah, I was kind of like, oh yeah, I guess that's kind of still a thing that people think about, like, because it kind of it's in a way for many of us it's become an afterthought. It's not something that we so much think all the time about as it pertains to
Right.
everyday life. So in that sense, we're kind of on the tail end um, of the intensity of COVID. There's always kind of this looming threat that the fall is going to bring back. I don't know if this happens in the States, but it happens in Canada. This looming threat that the fall will bring back restrictions. They're talking about increased cases, that kind of stuff. I don't necessarily think it's going to go that way, but regardless, we're starting to come out. We're starting to look forward, and there's been for some people. Yeah, I mean, you soon start traveling a little bit, and like I was chatting with some friends, who I had connected with just a few weeks ago, and they were saying that one of the senior leaders of their region, who had been a key figure in planting churches and such, had passed away in the middle of COVID when they were in heavy restrictions. And so there was always kind of this idea that we'll have some kind of celebration of life when the restrictions ease, right? Well, then his family ended up moving halfway across Canada,
Right.
things like that. So now he's passed away. All the people that he was influential to, they've grieved the loss, but there's been kind of no communal coming together, and there probably will never be, because now
Which
the
is a
family's not
really
there.
important thing when
Which is an
someone who
important thing,
has
right?
influence in your life passes away.
So
That you, yeah,
there's all kinds of these stories coming out, right? That have happened because of COVID and restrictions and lockdowns.
Right.
And wherever you stand on the necessity, not necessity, has nothing to do with it.
Right.
It just means people had traumatic things and painful and hurtful things happen to them. We have a friend that got married in the middle of COVID, and thankfully the day after they had their wedding and their reception, there was heavy restrictions put in place all of a sudden that would have precluded her wedding. And so if those restrictions had gone on I think the Sunday that she had it rather than the Monday, she wouldn't have been able to have her wedding that day. And even though people had come in and people were there, and her parents had quarantined for 2 weeks to be able to be there, and all this stuff, right? So thankfully she was able to have it, but these things were announced all of a sudden. There would have been no way to pivot, right?
Yeah, and there's just story after story
Just
after
story
story.
after story of that kind of stuff happening. There's definitely people that have gotten caught by that.
Life was put
So-
on hold. Plans were put on
Exactly,
hold.
exactly.
There was this uncertainty brewing, which does things to the human psyche.
Yeah, exactly. And
It messes
we're
with
also
us. Yeah.
we're also still in this place where, lots of you can if something, it seems like something's brewing, that the father's doing something, but nobody quite knows what. And so there's this tendency to try and rush ahead. Like talking to pastors and leaders who are going, okay, well, we used to do it so much intercessory prayer. We need to get back to doing intercessory prayer. We used to do this, and so we need to get back to doing that. We used to do this, we need to get back to doing that. So there's lots of that because we don't know the way. You only look back to the things you used to do because you don't know what to do going forward. Right. And so there's this kind of this weird interim phase we're in where you can tell the Lord's doing something, but nobody, you want to raise your head above the cloud and go, what's happening? But
yeah.
You don't really want to do that.
But we haven't found how high the cloud goes, right?
Exactly. So the question is, how is that impacting? And this is the question my dad had. So I'll lob it over to my dad in a second. Is how do we think that might have impacted people's dreams, and what kind of dreams might people be having because of that? And because those kind of experiences, like my dad said, would have a deep impact upon the human psyche. So how has that impacted our dream life? So I'll lob that over to my dad. But first I'll say, Annette, no, they just actually in the last couple of weeks removed the restrictions for vaccine requirement to enter Canada. So you can enter Canada now without a vaccine. So go ahead, Dad. What were your thoughts?
Well, it's kind of the first sort of a thought is that it makes me wonder what kind of dreams people will start having as we come out of this time and we start trying to re-navigate our lives, and find solid footing that says, okay, this isn't going to be taken away.
Yeah.
So that's part of it right there, is that we're not sure how long this is going to last, and is it going to happen again?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a fear, but it's more of an uncertainty.
Yeah.
And when we're uncertain, that we don't have stable footing in which to walk with, and we don't know what tomorrow might hold, our brains try to figure out where we're going and what's going on. It's what Paul says when he says, don't be concerned about tomorrow, or Jesus says, and then Paul expands on it, but don't be concerned about tomorrow. There's enough there to take care of itself.
Yeah, it's Matthew 7.
Walk with me in today, and let's see, and that's where we are. And so that's probably a really fundamentally a critical way of switching our way of viewing the world. That's just an aside.
Yeah.
But our brains now are going to start trying to figure out, how do we navigate this, the places of uncertainty? How does our family work? How do if I make plans for a wedding, as you were just talking about, is it going to happen? If I make plans for this thing, is it going to happen? And so we're kind of starting to say, okay, I could make plans, but maybe my plans aren't going to come to fruition. So that's going to mess with you, and you'll start having dreams. And here's the funny thing about dreams: you'll start having dreams about this, but the dreams may not look like it. So the dream's not going to necessarily say, "Hey, I'm uncertain about the future." The dream is going to say, "Things seem unstable."
Sure.
So it wouldn't surprise me if the earth was moving under people's feet, or scenes change too rapidly in a dream, or things that create uncertainty that is a reflection of how people are responding and reacting to the stimulus that they have during the day, all of the news reports, all of the conflicting statements from one group to another group, and even from a government, one part of a government to another part of a government, where you still got to do this, but you don't have to do this, and you at the end of the day, people say, well, what do I do?
Yeah.
And I think we're kind of in that spot. Can they post their dreams on on YouTube? Okay,
just post. Yeah, post your dream on. You can just post your dream in the chat. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So if you need to break it up into multiple chats on YouTube, I'm not sure exactly what the comment restriction is on YouTube. So if you need to break it up into multiple posts on YouTube, that's fine. So.
Oh, okay. So Lynn says she's watching her 8-year-old granddaughter have multiple AD dreams and not be able to sleep.
What's AD dreams?
If you're ADD.
Oh, AD, like
attention deficit disorder. So if you have, I'm assuming that's what you're saying, Lynn, ADD. And so if you're having that and it's like nothing, ADD is you're moving from one place, you can't focus.
Yeah.
As
Lynn,
well as you
could be. Bad dreams. No, she says bad.
Oh,
multiple bad dreams.
Like okay. Multiple bad dreams. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, not ADD, but hey. Ooh, that's not coming all the way through on those dreams, Elizabeth.
Well, she won't be able to hear us. So
let's see if I can.
You keep on going, Dad. I'll deal with that. Okay.
All right. So this, I think, is where we're going to start seeing dreams work out for a little while, is trying to deal with the uncertainties and trying to come to grips with it, because your brain wants to have an answer. It wants to make sense out of life. And so your brain does this. When it doesn't understand what's going to happen, it takes bits and pieces of things and experiences you've already had. It may be as far back as when you were a little baby, but it's going to take the experiences and the memories that it has to work with, push those into the equation and try to come up with a conclusion so that you can explain the world. It's called the explainer. That's what the brain does. It wants to explain how the world works. And our dreams work out of that explainer thing,
right?
Where they're trying to come to grips with the uncertainties and the questions that we have. And so when we're having these sorts of uncertainties, we're then filled with questions, and those questions then create in us those sorts of dreams that we have. And we may get heavenly reactions and responses in these dreams to help us come to grips with the things we don't understand. That's the beauty of dreaming and recognizing God's voice in a dream, is that we can begin to see, oh, we have an answer. This is what that answer means, because the answer is always, as often, metaphorical. It's not straightforward, and we have to figure out, okay, what is it? What is this answer to my dream? So we need to understand the questions that our human condition is creating, and so that we can begin to take a look at the answers that we're getting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
So I think people are going to start having weird dreams. We always have weird dreams, but we're going to have dreams that speak to uncertainty. And when we have dreams that speak to uncertainty, that means there's going to be uncertainty in the dreams.
Yeah, dreams. Well, here first, Elizabeth. I'm going to guess Elizabeth is that on YouTube the account is Libby Miko or Libby Miko, and I'm guessing that's Elizabeth Chen and Hui. Is that how you say that? So Elizabeth, if that's you, yeah, okay, good. Then yeah, we do see your dreams there. So Dad, those are over on the wind. You can grab those.
All right.
I have heard just recently dreams. I remember hearing a pastor say something like, I'm in a dream and I'm in another church and I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to say, or that kind of thing would be I'm wrestling, or I'm I'm at an old job and I'm trying to figure out what to do. These kind of dreams, I would imagine, would increase because we are wrestling with um, some of the existential questions.
Right.
What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to do it? And will I be able to do it? These kind of questions. And so, as we've said in our training, that a lot of times dreams are either a response to an existential question. Um, who am I? How do I live life? What am I about? What are my people about? What am I to be doing with life? What's my call? These kind of questions that we ask and are always looking for some kind of resolution to, and they bleed into our dream life. And sometimes it's the dream is just us kind of asking that question over and over and over again. What am I to do? And there's no real answer to it. Sometimes it opens up a dialogue in the dream, and you can see that there's some kind of heavenly response giving some insight. So it can be really helpful to think through the lens of your dream life in light of what kind of questions might I be asking, and how might this either help me to see the question more clearly or help me to see the answer the Father may be whispering to get me one step further along on the journey. It's interesting, Dad, as you were saying, that the kind of the kind of thought process that happens coming out of COVID, which is, will we be able to go about doing the things that we used to be able to do? Will, for me personally, it's, will travel ever get back to normal? I was just looking up um, flights to get down to you for Thanksgiving, right? And I just kind of did a cursory look, and I was telling you that the flights to get down from me to you are $2,000. That's astronomical, right? So my kind of question has been constantly, man, are the flight prices and the flight schedules ever going to get back to normal? And so these kind of questions we have right now. The comment I want to make on that, though, is at the same time that we've been having those kind of questions, because those kind of questions have increased dramatically in the last 2 years. You know what else has increased dramatically in the last 2 years? The voices on the internet saying that they have the answer prophetically to those questions.
Yeah, true.
Right? Those have increased dramatically.
True.
And and I think it's because we're all asking the same questions. But I had this thought the other day, that and it was when I was listening to a Brennan Manning teaching. This teaching was from 30 years ago, but the thought was, there are many voices today. Well, let's say it was this: there are many voices for God today, but there's very few friends of God today. And so, because we're seeing a marked increase in that kind of prophetic ministry, and it gets a lot of traction on social media channels because people are asking those questions and they want those resolution, and so they're looking for those kind of things. And then the person who's giving them goes, well, see, it's the favor of the Lord because people are tuning in because my numbers are increasing. Well, people are just anxious, and you're answering. Melissa says lots of noise, less truth. Very, very good way of saying that, Melissa. I may co-opt that. Lots of noise, less truth. And so my kind of litmus test has been it does a voice help me to see my life in light of who the Father is and who I am? And are they calling me back to a place of intimacy, friendship, and union with the Father? And are they helping me to see the grandeur of who he is, the majesty of who he is, and the splendor of who he is? And are they elaborating on the beauty of who he is? And does my heart leap at the revelation of who God is and what he intends to do, and the beauty he intends to bring and work out of all things, as he is a redemptive God? Are the voices I'm listening to doing that, or are the voices I'm doing to seem to be answering questions about practical events that people might be asking questions about? So I try and juxtapose those things right now, and to filter out the noise. I don't want to listen to the person, and it's not that I have a problem with that person, it's just not helpful for me. So I don't want to listen to the person who is answering the existential question over against the person who is going to the Father and telling me about his heart. I would rather listen to the person telling me about his heart, because that helps me. And so I want to be a voice of clarity, not a voice of confusion. And I want to listen to voices that bring clarity and not confusion. And clarity doesn't mean that we know what's going to happen. Clarity means we know who's in charge. And when I see more and more how amazing he is, then it helps me to put my life in the right place. Okay, I can do this. So anyway, that is, you see kind of this systemic thing happening where anxiety is increased and fear is increased, and right now I think
and
that
it's not like we don't have those things anyway. It's just that it's at a heightened
no,
state.
for sure.
Yeah.
And you've got like, you think that maybe this is getting way too looking at the meta narrative of society. You've got the kind of wane of the legacy media was really drove their viewing numbers based on Trump, then drove their viewing numbers based on COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's like, well, what are we going to drive our viewing numbers based off of?
Yeah. What stories are we going to tell now?
What stories are now? And the stories, where it seems to be trending is, let's double down on the division in society because people are afraid of that.
Yeah.
And so, we've let fear has controlled the narrative. And I don't really fault the legacy media for doing that, because fear works. It works for people because fear is a prime motivator of brain function. So I can understand why that happens, but it shouldn't be the case in our dynamics. So all that to say, I think what you're saying, Dad, has some very incredible bearing, or very not incredible, but very pertinent bearing to what we might be dreaming about.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So it's hey, there's a dream, Elizabeth Chin. You posted a dream, posted several dreams, but the one that says my 9 and 7-year-olds had the following dreams. Could you? It ends for us at we prayed that, and then that we don't have anything more after that. And I'd like to see the rest of that dream, because I think it's probably kind of interesting. I don't think it's part of the rest of your dream, but maybe I'm wrong. That's a long dream, so we probably won't be able to get to the one that you posted just because of the length of it.
And while she's doing that, why don't we?
Oh, okay.
Let's do that. We can get
competing questions here.
Yeah, right. Well, let's get to Casey. We'll get to Casey's question in a second, but okay. Annette's dream is just so perfect,
right,
with what we've been talking about.
Yep.
And not that the dream is full of fear or anything. Not saying that, but there are underlying questions that Annette's asking in the midst of because getting dressed for a wedding is being prepared for something great, yes. Right? Being prepared for a completely new, what's this going to look like? How am I going to do this?
A joining together of something.
Exactly.
Connecting in some way. Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead and read the dream, Dad, and let's talk about this, because I think it really goes in line with what we've been talking about.
So she's calling this dream wedding. She was getting dressed for a wedding. There were people all around her watching her get ready. Part of my top slipped, and I was exposed for a second and quickly covered myself up. And
yeah, so really short dream. These are the dreams we love to interpret, right? Short dreams. So like we were just saying, a wedding is being prepared for something great. A new life commitment, it's a new adventure, right? And I wonder, Annette, did you know who you were going to get married to in the dream?
She said both men and women were watching her at that moment. So
yeah. Did you know who you were going to get married to? That's the question. And Elizabeth's giving you some clarity on those dreams, Dad.
Gotcha.
So, or was it just kind of you knew that there was a wedding? I'm assuming it was you knew there was a wedding. And actually, it's not even all that important. Yeah, but the way you wrote it, it sounds like it was just a wedding. So, but it is important because she says, no, I didn't know, because part of that says you don't know the thing you're going to be connected to, but you know you're getting ready for something, right? This is that thing where the Father has been brooding. He's been hovering over the earth doing something, and we can tell something's happening, but we haven't been able to raise our head above the clouds to see what it is yet. So this is where I see this dream fitting into this, is you're getting ready for something, and it's going to be a big change, but you don't quite know what it's going to be. But you're getting a glimpse of what it is, because in the dream you've got a beautiful white gown. And when you're getting ready, you're starting to put all the stuff on and get yourself all, as we would say, gussied up. That would probably work, right?
Nobody says gussied up anymore.
Yeah, that's all right. I say it. And so what the dream is showing you, that in this process of getting ready for the next big thing that you're going to do, the next big thing the Lord's leading you into, the next thing that there's going to be an increased visibility. People are going to see it, because there's people around me watching me. People are going to see it. And there's moments where, as you're getting ready, it feels like, oh my goodness, have I been exposed too much? Have I shown too much? Right? Because what happens is, I slipped up and people saw more than they were supposed to see. Right. And so the question is, or the anxiety is, in this preparation season, how do I be myself? And how do I portray myself? And who am I becoming? Because it feels like sometimes I'm overexposed and I don't know what to do about that. And Dad, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think that's good.
Yeah. So it is coming, and there is a preparation process, and there'll be increased visibility, and people are going to see. But also, there's this wrestle with how I feel exposed sometimes. I feel seen sometimes. I feel too exposed. I don't know how to be. I don't know what to do.
I feel uncomfortably exposed.
I'm uncomfortably exposed, because people are watching me get ready for this big thing, and I know something's coming. And there's not an answer for it. It's just, but you know what? The answer really is, it's not a big deal. Like, it's going to be okay. It's just a minor slip up, and it's going to be okay. It's not a slip up in the wedding. It's just in the preparation process.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be okay. Yeah. There we go. Well, next time I'm in Lubbock, then maybe I'll get Jeff and Desiree to take me to get gussied up, and I'll take a picture, and then we'll post it up there for Berta. So we'll see if we can get that. Yes. What else do we got?
Karen had an interesting statement here when she's talking about that. She tries and writes some small info in the side notes in her dream book to understand some things I may be personally going through at the time. That way, as I try to unfold the metaphors, the Lord may reveal something to me, is what you said.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. In the margins,
connect them to your personal current events. Yes.
Yeah. And it's not that every dream is going to speak to personal current events, but a lot of them do. And when John Paul taught about dreams, he called the majority of the dreams we have, he called them self-conditioned dreams. And so the kind of what we're talking about, the kind of questions that you're asking, existential questions, that kind of thing, that would fall under what John Paul called self-conditioned dreams. And we think it's our opinion that a lot of those types of dreams are answering those fundamental questions we're asking about life, and we're constantly asking them. And a resolution to one question just leads to another question. So it is a great thing, Karen. I like that idea to do that. But you will have dreams that, when interpreted, or when you have them, speak to things that will happen in the future, not things that are happening presently, or speak to things that have happened in the past and aren't happening presently. So that there is something to consider for that. But anyway,
it's a good practice. Yeah.
But it's a great practice. Yeah, I think it's a fantastic thing to do.
Casey has a question. I would love to know the meaning of a bat in a dream. I felt neutral when I saw it, no fear or anything, just simply a bat. It was also stretched out in a way where it took up all of my vision.
Well, that that's an interesting one, a bat. And partly questions, what we can offer in a context like that, what the question Casey's asking is, offer different perspectives of what a bat may be, because we don't have the whole dream to go on, just a portion of the dream, and we can hypothesize or make some guesses, but without the whole dream, it's hard to say specifically. But with that said, oh man, it's getting late here. With that said, we can definitely throw some things out there. So you've got the wordplay, right? A bat could be a wordplay, going to bat for something or batting something away, or so you've got the potential for a wordplay is one, because the word bat has multiple different meanings. You have the bat, the connotation of a bat is creature of darkness, and it's
A rat with wings.
Yeah, a rat with wings. It feeds on rodents and mice and things like that, and bugs and insects. Right? It's not necessarily a redemptive creature. Right? There's not a stately. It's like a lion can have a really negative connotation because it can be a destructive animal, but it also can be a stately animal. So it can have a very positive interpretation too.
Right.
A bat is a little bit harder to see the positive interpretation of that. You've got, of course, cultural things like Batman, right? The stretched out bat with its wings could potentially form the symbol for Batman. So that that could be a whole different thing. If you go, I saw a bat, it looked like the Batman symbol. That's a whole different thing. But so there's different things like that. A bat uses noise to reposition itself and find its prey because it can't see well, right? So the fact that the bat is taking up your vision means that there's something that's been obscuring your ability to see the way forward, and it's marked by an inability to see and only an ability to make noise. So it could be, this is just a hypothetically, some of the stuff we've been talking about, I think maybe some of these prophetic voices that are coming out today make a lot of noise but don't point the way forward because they lack vision, but they have a lot of noise. And so there's something in your vision that's blocking your vision that makes a lot of noise but can't actually see.
And when you say prophetic voices, you're not necessarily saying people who say that they're prophets. You're saying people who are saying, I know the way forward. Here's what it looks like.
Yes, exactly.
And it may not be really much of a way forward. It's just they had an idea and now they're telling everybody else this is the way
maybe it's things like,
and it might have worked for them, but it's not for everybody else.
The Lord told me that we're all supposed to invest in cryptocurrency. It's the next big thing. Or there's going to be an increase in what was one of them I heard somewhere in Europe, there's going to be an increase in human cyborg connected, like all kinds of technology that's going to impact humanity and all this kind of stuff. And then we need to be careful and concerned and pray for that. Right. And so that purports to give you the way forward without giving you anything to go forward on.
Gotcha. Creates an insecurity at the base of it.
It creates an insecurity, because it makes a lot of noise, but it doesn't have a way of seeing forward. So, but a bat could represent something like that, because an animal will often represent some kind of influence that's germane to your life, but not necessarily something germane to who you are. And so it's an external influence.
It's having an effect upon you.
Yeah, it's having an effect upon you. Yeah, something that's obscuring your ability to see, that makes a lot of noise, but isn't actually able to see the way forward itself.
Cool.
So it makes it difficult to make the right steps to move forward.
Yeah, it's good. Melissa has a dream, and it's a good dream because it has coffee in it. So she dreamed she was hired in an importation coffee company. So there we go. And saw my first day there. It was also a little coffee shop. I noticed workers were not very disciplined, and I thought, well, I have stuff to do.
Oh, that's a great dream.
There was also plants, a lot, and a whole irrigation automatic system for the plant and trees.
That's a great dream.
Yep.
So importation, does that mean that, do you mean by that
Like
they
importing
import
coffee from another country or something?
importing coffee beans or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's also connected with a coffee shop. And I'm going to guess that you weren't actually hired by, or don't work in, this wouldn't be
Your
current job or something that your current job resembles. So I those are just a couple of the questions, but in terms of the overall view of this stream, they imported from everywhere.
That currently work, yes. Okay.
Yeah, when you're hired in a dream, when you're hired, meaning you're given a new assignment,
right?
And that assignment has some specifics. And so in the dream, coffee is a thing people connect communally over. Right. They share life things about, they have deep conversations about.
Let's go get a cup of coffee. We'll talk about a cup
of coffee. Right. Yes. So when you're working for an importation coffee company, you're working for, and I'm going to guess that Melissa, you would find, let's meet at a coffee shop. Let's have a cup of coffee. Let's talk over a cup of coffee. That wouldn't be an abnormal thing for you to do, especially based on the dream that you've had here. And what I know about Melissa, I think she's a very relational person. So you are creating the environment, right? An importation coffee company, not the coffee company itself. You are creating the environment or helping to create the environment where deep things are being shared. Yep. And what you're noticing in that is that there's people around you that need help in discipline. Mm-hmm. Which would mean they need help in boundaries, they need help in relationships, they need help in how to share and what to share and how to be connected and how to relate. And you're starting to see just the kind of work in the sense of not work in the sense of what you're going to be doing in terms of job, but just where God has you and the impact you can have.
Your place, your place in your community.
Your place in your there you go. Yeah. And also with the second part of this dream where there's an irrigation system, there's plants and trees, is the Father wants you to know that you're in the right place doing the right thing. Because the fact that there's an irrigation system for the plants and trees means their life is happening. And life is happening in an abundant way. Even though you recognize some of the dynamics, the broken dynamics, he wants you to know that his spirit is moving and there's nothing you have to do to create it, make it happen. It's automatic irrigation system. His spirit's moving. Things are being watered. Things are being nourished. And those aren't even your responsibility. It's just happening in the background.
Well, and also on top of that, it's an automatic irrigation system, which means there's a plan. You don't put out an irrigation system without knowing how you're going to connect things. So where the water flows, which we can say is the spirit, is very well considered and thought out and prepared so that everything will have what it needs.
Yeah. And you have a role in, and she has a role in discipleship, essentially, right? Like they lack discipline, they need discipleship. Yeah. And but in a not in a like let's run a discipleship program, but in a very intentional and organic way.
Yeah. And an importation coffee company, it's bringing things from a different culture to another culture.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, that's very true, Dan. Very good. Yeah. And then preparing it for people to consume and be relational through.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah. Okay, what else we got?
That was a really good dream.
It's a really good one. Yeah.
Let's see here. Well, I'm going to try and get. So these dreams were from her children. Oh wait, let me go back here. Her 9 and 7-year-olds had the following dreams on consecutive nights. So Karen said her daughter, I'm assuming Karen, went with her whole family, including the extended family, on a trip to Malaysia. We were in an airplane. We saw a lion roaring in the sky. The plane was shaking as the roar was loud. Which I think is cool. There's a lion roaring in the sky. And so is that the 9-year-old or the 7-year-old, Karen? So just let us know that. The plane was shaking as the roar was loud. There were lions and eagles in the clouds. When we landed, there were no wheel marks from the plane, but there were eagle marks. We got out of the plane and looked for a house to live in, but there was no room. We prayed.
Here, I think I can pull that up.
Yeah.
We prayed. There was a man who booked to stay for 10 nights, but did not stay the last 3 nights. So we got to stay at that place. We left our luggage and went to Legoland.
I like that.
And it keeps going. I'll keep reading it because I got it here. On the way, we were trying to buy something and we're walking around. It got darker from afternoon to evening. We couldn't find our way back. We heard a lion stomping and roaring. It had a red mane and blue body. He carried a map. He was the map. He was glowing, brightening the way. The eagle was there too. The lion carried the adults. The eagle carried the kids. So it's a good dream.
Yeah.
The eagle's beak was gold. The feathers and bodies were green. We flew back to the house. There was communion for each of us. We did not know what it was. We did not know what it was. There was fire on our heads. Wow.
Yeah.
A letter came down out of nowhere. Please use this for what Jesus has done for you. We took communion. Jesus brought us to Legoland. All the shops were closed except our favorite shop. Everyone got their own customized pencil case. We went back and had a good night's dream.
Rest. Good night's
rest.
Good
night's rest. Yeah. So, wow. Okay, Dad, you start because I missed the first part as I was trying to bring it up.
Okay, so let's go back here. So this dream starts. Karen, did you tell us which one it is?
Yeah, this was Karen, and then the second dream was from.
Okay, so the 7-year-old is Karen. This is an incredible dream for a 7-year-old to have.
It really is.
It really is amazing. So your children must dream pretty well, because. So let's backtrack a little bit again, like we need to always do when we do children's dreams, and not. So we don't want to superimpose on a child's dream adult thought processes and adult interactions with life. We want to have something that's much simpler, because the brain is continuing to form, and it hasn't gotten to a place where it can connect certain kinds of nuanced thinking yet. Doesn't mean they're not smart. It just means that their brains are still developing. And so they dream within that capacity, which means that things are going to be much more straightforward and simple in the dream. So she has, the whole family, including the extended family, is on a trip to Malaysia.
Which isn't that she's from Singapore, and Solomon's Porch. So wonderful to see you, Elizabeth. I miss you guys, and I've been chatting with Pastor Sam, and we've been trying to figure out some dates for a trip back to Singapore. And so I'm super excited for when that starts to come together, probably sometime, hopefully early next year. So we'll see. But anyway, so Malaysia is not that far from Singapore in the grand scheme of things, in terms of where we are. Yeah.
So in an airplane, which, for a 7-year-old, it's the way we get places. It's cool. It's exciting. It's
short flight from Singapore to Malaysia too.
But
a couple hours.
This flight is there's a lion roaring in the sky, and the plane is shaking because of the loud the volume of this lion. And there are lions and eagles in the clouds. Now, what I can sense out of this
Wow.
dream is that she's not afraid of it. It's just that this is really interesting, right? This is something happening. So they landed, and the plane doesn't land like a normal plane. It lands as if it's an eagle. So
Yeah.
you're being carried by, as biblical, being carried on the wings of an eagle, of
But
course.
also, she's in a plane that is an eagle, meaning there's probably something quite prophetic about this little girl.
Yes, I would think so.
Yeah.
You get out of the place and look for a house to live in. No room. Somebody's stayed has been there to stay for 10 days, but 3 days are left. Oh, huh. Interesting. 3 days. She
Yeah.
gets to have the 3-day stay, which is always a 3 days. It's the time Jesus was in the tomb, and it's the Trinity. It's all kinds of. 3 is just a really incredible number as far as that goes. And
There's also this thing where someone was staying before,
yeah,
and created a space for them to be able to stay.
right,
Right.
exactly.
So there's people who have
And
gone
it's a
before.
holy space because of that
Yeah.
3 thing. Yeah,
Yeah. It's a holy space. So people who have gone before are actually paving the way for her daughter to step into something,
yeah,
where it didn't seem like there was going to be room.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is
This is a life calling dream.
exactly. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's a fantastic dream,
Yeah.
and it is speaking to who she is, and who she is, not just within her family, but within the context of an extended family.
And Legoland
Yeah.
is like for us growing up, right? It was
Yeah.
Disneyland because we're in
Right.
California. So Disneyland was like the height of where you wanted to go.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like the tendency as an adult is to think Legoland, what are Legos, what do they represent, all that kind of stuff. Right. As a kid, the 7-year-old, Legoland is this is what I dream about. This is where I dream about going.
Yeah.
So Legoland talks about her destiny. It talks about the place that she dreams about getting to.
Yeah.
And so it's like there's a prophetic destiny, there's a prophetic call, and there's going to be the way is going to be paved so that it's not the cost won't be nearly as much as you think it will be, and
Others will have paid it for you.
others will have paid it for you. Others will have paved the way for you and created the way for you. And it's a great dream.
Yeah.
And then the second part is you have that there.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, because
on the way we were trying to buy something that starts off with that.
Yeah.
So let's bring that one up.
It got darker. They couldn't find their way back. We heard a lion stomping and roaring with a red mane and a blue body, and he carried him up. He was the map.
I love that. The lion. This
was
is so
the
beautiful,
map.
right? I
He
love
was
that.
glowing, brightening the way.
Yes. And this is
the
the thing.
The eagle was there too. So we have the lion of Judah. We have the eagle, which is the spirit. There, the eagle, the lion carries the adults, and the eagle carries the kids. The eagle, who's that spirit, that revelation, that flying to new heights.
And getting there is not so much about knowing the path as it is in following the lion.
Right.
I love that the lion is the map. Yeah. Wow. Or just being with the lion.
Yeah.
Because he is the map. Yeah.
The eagle's beak was gold. The feathers and body were green. Just gorgeous. We flew back to the house. There was communion for each of it. They didn't know what it was. There was fire on our heads. There's another spirit. And so fire on your heads is the spirit.
Yeah.
Fire in the temple. Fire on the day of Pentecost. We could go into that. That's just a fascinating thought of why fire was dancing on the heads of the disciples on Pentecost. That's so connected to Scripture.
Yeah.
But fire on the heads is about that spirit coming in, and then you get a letter that comes out of nowhere. Please use this. This is what Jesus has done for you, and you took communion.
Wow.
And Jesus, Jesus brought us to Legoland. all of a sudden Jesus is the one. After communion, they're brought into that place of wonder and surprise and joy.
Yeah.
And the only shop that's open for them is the one they want to be in.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just an amazing dream.
Well, so we can just sum it up by saying, Elizabeth, there's a call on your daughter's life to prophesy the way forward for people.
Yeah.
And she's on the journey now. She's not in that place now. She's on the journey now. There'll be people that have gone ahead and paid the price, paved the way, created the space for her to step into it. It'll be a holy thing. It'll be a righteous thing. That even when it gets dark, she'll find the way because she'll look at Jesus and she'll look to him, not because she has the right plan, but because she has his heart and she walks with him. And the prophetic call will get her. This is her riding the eagle. The prophetic call will get her to the place that she's called to be. And there'll be a manner of prophesying that'll bring purity. This is the gold beak, purity and communion. Yeah. And that will be from a place of life, which is the green of the eagle's body. And it'll culminate in communion with Christ.
Which is that union, that joining with him in the things that he's done.
And the Holy Spirit will be evident in all that she does, right? It's visibly apparent on her head. And the Lord's prepared people to walk with her family, other people.
And everybody gets a customized pencil case.
Yeah. So meaning that the uniqueness of who you are is going to come out in what you do. Yeah. Because the pencil you write with, and because it's customized, it means there's specific things that the Lord's going to show this young woman, this young girl, as she grows, and what comes out of her is
things will be written in her life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very good. Yeah, that's a great dream. So thank you for sharing that, Elizabeth. So Elizabeth, if next time I'm in Singapore, please introduce me to Karen. So.
And we will try. We don't have time to get to the other daughter's dream tonight, but we will.
Connor would probably be
Connor. I'm sorry, her son's dream. But we will try and get to that one. We'll try and flesh it out a little bit more so we have all of it. Sorry for the technical glitches.
Hopefully it all works next week. So, but if we have to go live on YouTube only, that's fine too. So.
But Elizabeth, that is such an amazing dream for you that your daughter's had. I would certainly spend time praying over that dream with her and talking about it and encouraging her in it, just helping her see the beauty of it, and help her break it down a little bit. Yeah. Kids chew on dreams when they get them. And a dream like this is a dream to be written down and chewed on for life.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, I think we've reached our time.
Yep, we have.
Yeah. So just so everybody knows, by the way, next week, you had said we'll try to get to it next week.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Next 2 weeks, I'm on the road again. So I will be in Newfoundland, making a couple different stops, culminating in a stop in St. John's on the east coast of Newfoundland. So we're just kind of putting the final details of the trip together, but I will be away the next 2 Tuesdays. So we will see you in 3 Tuesdays. Awesome. Annette says it's been 2 years this month since she met us. She's learned so much. That's awesome, Annette. So one day it'll be in person.
That's
so right. By the way, it looks like
all of those that were able to jump in spite of the technical difficulties. Thank you for jumping in with us.
It looks like, by the way, I don't know if any of you guys are planning on there's a conference happening at Streams in early December, the first weekend in December, some kind of conference on Revelation or something. I can't remember. So it looks like I'm going to be there for that. So I don't know if anybody's planning on being there, but if you are, we may be able to meet up. So that would be wonderful, Melissa, from your importation coffee company. Yes. Yeah, I agree. That'd be wonderful. All awesome. Right. Well, Pops, you want to pray for the people?
I do. I just pray blessing on each and every one that has gotten with us tonight. blessing, that the Lord would increase your spirit, would increase your understanding, would increase your wisdom, would increase your friendship.
Yeah.
And I say in the middle of that, I really have this real sense that Jesus is saying, I want my friends back. It's been too many years that they've been gone because of all this stuff that's gone on, and I want my friends back.
Yeah.
And so I just pray that over you, that Jesus would get his friends back in every way, and that you would be able to be his friends and extend his friendship to others. And may that be the hallmark of your life. And I just pray that in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
And
All right.
okay. Till next time. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks.